comment a lot where people are telling me that my priorities are whack and that all I should be fixated on is finding housing, which if you don't think that I spend like a good majority of my time doing that, that's on you. Can you hear my kids in the background? Like, honestly, like, life.
The fact that Stephanie Jenkins was like, do you hear my kids in the background? You hear my kids in the background. But she has some kind of like laugh track that's like kind of maniacal. Like kids are like, and she expects us to feel like she has this happy home, right? I know she doesn't have a happy home. Come on.
Okay, hey you guys, welcome back. Or if you're new here, hi, I'm so glad you're hanging out with me today. Quick little check-in real quick. Where are you watching from right now? What time is it where you are? Drop it in the comments while you're here. And if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button with the notifications on, okay? It really helps me out. All right, let's jump in. Because, girl, I cannot with what went down with the resilient Jenkins lately. This one has me side-eyeing everything, honestly. Picture this. She's in the motel room doing her thing, maybe cooking or just chatting away like normal, and all of a sudden she goes, "Do you hear my kids in the background? You hear them?" Then these laughs start up that sound so forced and fake, like someone slapped on one of those old YouTube laugh tracks that's way too loud and kind of unhinged. The kids are supposed to be giggling happily, you know, all cheerful and lively, but it just feels off, like she's really pushing this image of being this super hands-on, joyful mom with a fun, bustling little home life. But honestly, it comes across super desperate, and it makes you question the whole vibe she's trying to sell. I mean, be so for real. Did she actually think we wouldn't notice that?
She is literally so desperate to prove to the rest of us that her children are happy, and she's this hands-on mother who's just too busy to find housing, that she literally put a fucking laugh track of children laughing on the background of her video. And it's really obvious too. Listen again to the beginning of the video.
Yeah, they're just kind of like a kid's choice type dinner. And since it really doesn't need much of a recipe, I just thought I'd take this video to take a second and say, okay, I get this comment a lot where people are telling me that.
No shit. No, seriously. That's exactly what she did. Did she not think that we were going to pick up on that? It is so obvious.
That part had me pausing the video like, wait a minute. And you know what's even more frustrating? She keeps looping back to the same complaints about people coming for her because she still doesn't have a house yet. She's like, you think I'm not trying to get one and make things better? But here's the thing. After all this time, it really looks like the money from the content is just too comfy for her to actually make that big push for real change. There's no real urgency anymore, you know? She's settled into this motel setup, and it feels like keeping the kids in front of the camera for views has become the main priority instead of getting them somewhere stable. Trust me, it doesn't seem like that's changing anytime soon. If you're sitting there thinking it'll magically stop one day,
She actually needs mental help. Like, all jokes aside, this is terrifying. Actually, terrifying. And to briefly address what she said in the video, we don't think that you're trying to find housing because you've been here for a fucking year. A year. And you have all this money. You said money's not a problem. People have given you resource after resource. There's a specific program in your area for people who have evictions and bad credit that if you just go through it, it's like, I don't know, it's a very short program. There are literally landlords, a list of them, who will rent to you. People have given you resource after resource after resource after resource. You are so obviously comfortable in this motel. This is where you want to be. You want to be here. That's why we're saying that, because after a fucking year, you would be somewhere else if you wanted to be. Take it from someone who has credit that's probably worse than yours. If you wanted to be in somewhere after a year, you would be.
I wouldn't hold my breath. A real home might stay way off in the distance unless something big shifts. This whole situation is starting to feel low-key terrifying, you guys. She needs some actual support, real talk. And when she talks about actively looking for housing in her videos, we just aren't buying it at this point. It's been a full year, okay? A whole year with steady income coming in, and she herself has said money isn't even the problem. People have sent her all kinds of resources, programs for folks dealing with evictions and rough credit, short and simple ones too, plus lists of landlords who work with situations like hers. Resource after resource, yet here we still are. It seems like she's gotten way too comfortable with the motel life, like this is exactly where she wants to stay for now. If she was truly desperate to leave after a year, she'd be somewhere else by now, right? I've dealt with bad credit stuff before, and when you want it bad enough, you make the moves no matter what. But instead, whenever anyone asks for housing updates, it's always no updates, but suddenly she's picking up a new language or sharing parenting advice.
He was very manipulative. I didn't know anything about his past, and I...
To the Honorable Judge, filed April 14th, 2015. The first day I met Jeremiah, we had fun. We talked and laughed. He took me on a boat ride, and he paid for dinner. That night, before he said goodbye, Jeremiah told me he was a level 3 sex offender.
Didn't even honestly know how to, Google somebody the proper way to see their background.
My thoughts raced as I read all the things he'd done.
If I had been able to date, definitely done way more extensive research and found out he had way more on his record than what he told me.
I asked myself, could I spend the rest of my life with someone like him? What would a family mean? What kind of a father would he be? The kind of man Jeremiah is.
And I had any idea who the fuck I was actually messing with.
As Jeremiah came to know me, and I him, he told me about what happened. Jeremiah told me about how much he wishes he could take it back. How Jeremiah wishes he could make things right for his victims.
Like, it just goes to show like how many people just dismiss somebody's hurt as like, oh, well, it's convenient to leave this anyways.
Meanwhile, zero real movement on finding a place. And then layering those fake laughs over her cooking moments to prove she's this happy, present mom. Girl, that screams desperation. And it honestly makes you worry enough to think about a welfare check or something. Oh my God, I cannot. Then things got even wilder when a SWAT team straight up raided the motel where the resilient Jenkins have been staying for over a year. Of course, Stephanie cracks the door open with all the kids right there in that one room and starts filming whatever's happening across the parking lot. Because apparently nothing says safe and responsible parenting like recording armed police activity during an active raid, right? Anything for the content, it seems.
And this just proves that she buys followers. Was she at like 360, 370? A year ago, she was getting millions of views. And yes, it's tapered down, but for the fact that she's only gained less than 100,000 followers in a year of virality, she bought those followers and her channel had next to no growth. Because we know she buys about 2,000 to 5,000 followers a month. So she had practically no growth because a channel that viral with that many views over a year should have like doubled in followers. Or at least like, 25% gain. She should have at least 550,000 followers. And she doesn't because she buys them all and no one wants to follow her organically. So why don't you stop buying followers and get a job because your social media career is dying. Do better. Bye-bye now.
But let's be real. This moment should have ended any attempt to paint their living situation as just some misunderstood rough patch that people are being too harsh about. A serious police operation happening right outside where these kids eat, sleep, and play every day. That changes the conversation completely. It goes from they're going through a hard time to straight up dangerous environment, real immediate risk, not just online noise. And what does she do with it? She posts the video, but the caption is all over the place. Something about how she didn't want that outcome for any animal because apparently the guy's dog ended up at the pound. But wait, haven't we heard about her own past run-ins with animal control and those cats she allegedly let go? The hypocrisy hits different, honestly.
Jenkins finally posted an interesting video, and this is all we get. We get a little snippet. The only interesting thing to ever happen for you to ever record in your entire motel life, your neighbors getting SWAT team raided, and you You record 2 seconds of it and then lock King Daddy outside? We have to watch you cook slop. Slop. For what? 4 minutes? And you couldn't film 4 minutes of this? This actually interesting thing that would have gone viral? Girl, you are just the worst. Couldn't create content if your life depended on it, which it does. Also, you left King Daddy outside by himself to what, mourn the loss of the plug? The plug that's being raided? He's just going to stand out there and cry by himself? I know you're both upset. Who are you pretending?
She talks about how they kept themselves inside and stayed aware of their surroundings. But the clip shows the door wide open, Drew just standing there, and at least a couple of the little ones visible in the frame. They're filming from inside, kind of hiding, but not really, then rushing to post it online before anyone else can. What's the real reason behind that? Trying to control how the story gets told? It just puts a spotlight on how unsafe that whole area feels for 4 kids, sometimes 5, depending. Treating a SWAT raid like fresh social media material instead of an immediate sign to get the kids out of there, that's wild to me. Her caption keeps going, saying she's not preying on anyone's downfall, but she's relieved. Not sure what they found, but it'll probably come out later. And then this whole tangent about the aggressive dog. How it's never the animal's fault. It was trained that way, maybe beaten, all that. Now she's suddenly an animal advocate? After everything with the cat situation? Come on now. And claiming we keep ourselves in here while the door's flung open and they're actively recording? Girl, be serious.
You're pretending like you didn't know that man? Please. Pookie, please. You have no money. You make a lot of money and you have no money. And the plug across the parking lot from you just got raided? And you didn't know? You didn't know he was the plug? Please. Please. Also, you let your kids play out there unattended. Which is crazy. 1, because you clearly don't live in a great area, okay? And 2, because of what your husband did to kids who played outside by themselves as well. And you defended him. Right? Because there's something a little off about you two in there, Bookie. In there. Could have at least given us a better video to watch. Nothing. You give us nothing. You give us nothing and then complain that we don't like your videos. I don't want to watch you put sliced cheese on slop. Ew. Just grill a chicken breast like a normal person and steam some broccoli. What is wrong with you?
That doesn't exactly scream protective mom energy. The comments under that post were going off from every direction. People calling out the open door, asking if this is finally the thing that gets her to move the kids somewhere safer. Others pointing out that SWAT raids usually mean something serious, drugs or worse, not just a noise complaint. One person was like, yeah, you should have everyone inside with the door locked, kids away from windows and walls, because you never know if bullets start flying or someone tries to run into your room. Another brought up the cat stuff again, confused about her new compassion for the dog. And the question that keeps coming up. After a whole year in this motel with basically 0 real progress on housing, when is enough actually enough? The apartment eviction wasn't enough, months in the motel weren't enough, even losing primary custody in another situation wasn't enough. Now a raid happening right outside their door? Still not enough, apparently.
In our family that makes us us. Well, let me tell you a little. The foundation of our family starts with 2 loving parents. Out of that love have created 2 lives together and 1 angel baby. Not only are we blessed by the beautiful children we've created together, we came together as a blended family. Though you could ask any of us and it feels like we've never spent any time apart as a family. The bond the siblings have is unbreakable. We spend every moment possible together. Even at school they search for. This family, we're resilient, we're strong, and we make the best out of every situation and we celebrate every victory. You don't have to be your idea of ideal. Because this is our family and we love our family. It works for us. In our home we have home cooked meals 2-3 times a day. A mom who loves to cook and bake, make memories for her kids whenever possible. This home is the old-fashioned 90s vibe, where mom and dad's doors are always open. Pile on mom and dad's bed and watch movies together and have snacks. Birthdays are always a special experience, and even with limited funds, always manage to make memories that the kids hold on to. Our home may lack the space, but it's like any other family home, with our adorable little fur babies running around and endless school projects and pictures the kids have drawn for me and Drew, hanging on our walls. Our home is filled with memories and love. Home shows our resilience and our growth as a family. But is it about your family that makes you guys you? I'd love to hear.
It wasn't treated like a wake-up call. It got turned into content. Filmed, captioned, posted, then defending the comments by talking about her healing process and how she manifests negativity. But the kids are the ones stuck in the middle of all this chaos. Every new layer of instability just adds more weight because they didn't ask for any of it. The raid didn't feel like some random bad day in an otherwise stable life. It felt like another crack in an already shaky foundation. So the big question hanging over everything is, if this level of danger right outside isn't enough to force real change, what on earth will it take? What has to happen before the focus moves from surviving on camera to actually getting those babies into a safe, stable home? And while we're on the topic of turning personal stuff into content while dodging real accountability, she dropped this subscribers only video where she wanted to talk more about her past.
In that time that I've knew Jeremiah, he has done a lot of things to change for me. Even though I could see him as a sex offender, he was by no means perfect.
I really didn't think anything beyond, okay, well, he seems nice because, like I said, he was fucking manipulative shit. Like, he was incredibly nice to me and tried to, like, oh, well, oh, your mom shouldn't treat you like that kind of shit. Like,
Jeremiah didn't think he wanted to be with one girl. He didn't think he had to listen to anyone. And he thought his treatment was stupid.
it's about me with the, you don't basically think that I chose to be in that situation. I don't care. It's just ever evil for you to assume even know anything about that situation.
Jeremiah could never see his life without me now. Again, Jeremiah wasn't the same person as I read about. I asked point questions and pried at him to see if I could see him in that light. I couldn't.
But what I'm trying to say is that I didn't really given the tools and knowledge of how to be a person and know the evil and that they already are what they capable of. I didn't realize it, especially at 18, 19 years old when I met the guy. I didn't know I was so known. I wish I got the tools to know what the fuck I was going to listen to.
Jeremiah told me about the drugs.
Okay, well, you weren't there, so
On his 21st birthday, Jeremiah didn't go to a bar. Instead, he prayed that God would give him a chance to prove he'd changed.
She said the more she heals, the more she realizes her family, especially her ex's side, was involved in way more dark and crazy stuff than she ever knew. Old memories of living with her ex and his family keep surfacing. She mentions his brothers were just a lot, but she won't go into too many details because some people have safety nets, especially financial ones that she doesn't have. She circles back to why she's still married. It costs money to get a divorce, and she's been putting her funds toward other things for years. No, I don't want to be married. It actually costs money. But hold up. Didn't she say not too long ago that money isn't even an issue for them? They've got it. They just haven't moved yet. So which one is it? If cash flow isn't the problem, why not take care of the divorce? People have even suggested setting up a GoFundMe just for lawyer fees, but after how past donations that were meant for moving worked out, yeah, the trust level isn't exactly high.
More excuses as to why you can't do the job that you begged for. Believe it or not, I've been recording most of the day for weeks now. I just don't get as much time to post the content as I'd like, and that's okay. It will be posted though, because it's wasted effort not to post it. I truly feel life is about learning and constantly seeing where you can grow. Understanding comes from experience. What's that to do with you putting out content? You have another adult home all the time. There's no reason you can't get your one job done. And if you can't get your one job done, I feel like you may need to go get a job outside the home since you can't get your work from home job done in the Mo shelter. She goes to more delusional bullshit. She says the most random shit. She says, so a couple years back, I made a pretty naive comment on one of my favorite creators' pages, and I mentioned that I wish she would push out a little more content. But she was a mother of 4, going on 5 at the time. Of course, I did mean it supportively. I just love this mama's content, and that's how I worded it. I very much love the content that you push out, and would love to see more of it. And she said, trust me, I would love to put more of it out, but I get busy as I am a mom of 4, going on 5. And I swear, looking back at that, I just feel like I meant it supportively, but it was definitely ruder than I anticipated because I am now that mom of 5 that wishes I very much could push out more content and doesn't get as much of a chance as I wish I could.
Then she paints this picture of herself as this young, clueless 18 or 19-year-old who just wanted to escape her mom's house because they were fighting all the time. And her mom basically told her to leave. She claims she didn't know anything about his past, didn't even know how to properly look someone up back then. He was manipulative, super nice in the beginning, making her feel seen when her own mom wasn't. She says not everyone has the tools to spot bad intentions right away, and she definitely didn't. It makes her sick thinking about how naive she was, and she hopes her own kids will be smarter about that stuff. But here's where it starts to feel messy, you guys. There are old letters and documents floating around where she apparently knew from pretty early on that he was a registered level 3 sex offender.
Again, so if you can't get your work from home job done, you need a job outside the home. What do you not get? Like, you will never get out of there without a real job with real income for a real landlord to check up on and make sure that you're going to pay your damn rent. I'm always trying to wait for that perfect opportunity to do a voiceover, and that's just never going to happen. There's always something that needs more of my attention. And like right now, I'm outside with my kids, and I've had to stop many times, had to delete it because I don't, it just is what it is. You deleted you yelling at them. That's what that is. That's why you can't even say why you deleted it, because it's you screaming at them. Let's be fucking for real. And then the post that she made yesterday or today or whatever, I don't know, whatever damn posting is, but of her like making dinner, clearly on the tray that goes in the Ninja, and then melting the cheese on whatever sandwich is in the Ninja that's broken, not broken again. And then she has a very loud, I think it is too, but a lot of people are saying it's like a laugh track added in to like her voiceover. It's weird. It's very loud. And I feel like, you know how it is? She always mentions stuff when it's a lie. She calls it out herself for no fucking reason, and it draws more attention to it so that we analyze it and go, huh, you felt the need to mention it because you're lying, as always. Idiot. And I don't know, maybe it's a sense of guilt that I put on myself, but I feel as though, like, if I'm not pushing out content showing I'm cleaning every day, I'm cooking every day, people just assume I'm not doing these things, even though I'm very much busy doing these exact things, and that's why I can't push the content out. You literally record, put it in 10x, and blab over it a bunch of bullshit.
The wildest part for me is that she pointed out they have 3 streams of income. Drew's 2 jobs plus whatever she makes from social media, and they're still stuck in that same motel room after more than a year. She basically said it's society's fault, not anything to do with their effort or planning. But let's be real for a second. We see them going out to eat, grabbing daily coffees, doing LED face masks, laser hair removal, full skincare routines, smoking, putting premium gas in the car. And somehow, with all of that plus the money she says her views bring in, they can't get into actual housing? The math just isn't adding up, girl. It really looks like there's no solid plan or savings happening to get them out of there anytime soon, and that's hard to watch when there are 4 little kids involved. She also pushed back on people asking why she doesn't just put the kids in daycare and go get a regular job herself. Her answer was basically that Drew's income plus her content earnings should be enough, but society is what's holding them back. A lot of other moms, both stay-at-home and working ones, clapped back in the comments sharing their own stories.
That's not hard. If you were actually doing like really like intricate editing and things, like I would be like, yeah, that probably takes a long time. Yours does not take a long time. Stop lying. And yeah, we know you don't clean every day by the piles of trash swept off the floor, because that's not normal, Mrs. Jeremiah Thompson. You need to do better. She did some weird little jerky thing in this picture. And I've come to realize in my 10 years being a mother, I find myself in situations where a lot of the time I'm watching somebody else's kids randomly, because I guess I just am a helicopter parent. What are you talking about? First of all, you don't take your kids anywhere for you to be watching other people's kids in the first place. So what the fuck are you even saying? Helicopter where? You have said many times last spring and summer that you would let the kids play outside alone all the time while you were inside probably doing the things that you like to do. And we have your son outside alone on Google Maps. Great parenting. This is the 3rd toaster you've owned. You had the slim, like this one, white one in the apartment. Then you had the black one in the motel. And now we've got this new one. Stop buying shit. That $40 could have went towards your divorce from your your legal man. I'm always with my kids, and I don't see no problem with it, because it's very much, I'm also the type of parent that just really doesn't trust my surroundings. Then why did you let your kids out alone all summer?
Single moms working full-time while taking night classes, couples doing opposite shifts so they didn't need daycare, women cutting out takeout and little luxuries to make housing the priority. They weren't attacking the idea of staying home with your kids. They were saying it's a privilege that only really works when the family can actually afford the stability that comes with it. Living in a motel with 4 kids for over a year isn't the protected, ideal situation she seems to want praise for. Low-key, the whole tone of the post felt less like I love being a mom and pouring into my babies, and more like resentment toward the responsibilities. The way she listed everything out sounded more like a complaint than a celebration. And whenever the questions about their situation get too loud, she hops on Facebook and drops one of these long, dramatic rants. It's like clockwork. This one turned a pretty straightforward situation into a whole speech about invisible labor, class society, and how nobody understands. But at the end of the day, it boiled down to the same message we've heard before. None of this is really my fault.
Family of 6 going on 7, living in a 1-bedroom apartment.
This is the first time most of us met the Jenkins, okay? The woman doing the voiceover and also shown in the video is Stephanie Jenkins, okay? That is what she calls herself. That is not her legal name because she is married to a different man, but we will get to that. In this video, she is throwing out their dining room table in order to move her 2 daughters from her husband, whom she is still married to, who is in prison for touching children. She is moving her daughters into the kitchen floor to sleep because her and Mr. Jenkins, who we haven't met yet, okay, have the 1-bedroom in this 1-bedroom apartment in which they have 5 children going on 6.
She even made a whole list of all the hats stay-at-home moms wear: housekeeper, cook, appointment setter, transportation specialist, dietitian, teacher, housing resource assistant, cleaner, saying these are all paid positions separately, so moms deserve credit. And yeah, motherhood involves a ton. Well, but when she puts those titles on herself, people naturally look at what she actually posts. 1 messy motel room, basic meals, not much structured play or learning. The comments got pretty spicy because of that gap between what she claims and what we see. Then she doubled down at the end saying she could write a whole essay, but people wouldn't care because they're in their privileged bubbles. She talked about rising up with knowledge, grace, strength, and resilience, said God's in control, not men, and that everyone who doubted her is going to be shook when they see what she's capable of.
As the kids grow older, that means we constantly have to adapt our environment to give them more means for privacy and extra space.
Now, when this went viral, this was like, what, almost 2 years ago now. This was October of 2024. And everyone was appalled when this went viral that there were 6 people going on 7 living in a 1-bedroom apartment. Like, everyone was like, how is that enough space? Like, that's insane. Present day, okay, April 2026, there are 7 people now, okay? Baby was born, right? Baby has actually never known the apartment because baby was born in the Jetta, which is their car. Okay, so baby was born in the Jetta while they were living in a motel and are still living in a motel. So the baby that she's pregnant with in this video has only ever known motel life. So she talks about giving her kids more space and going viral and making money. She went viral, she made money, she got evicted, and they ended up in a motel. So now there's 7 people in a motel. Let's see what else she has to say.
An outsider environment appears cluttered, disorganized, what have you.
Stephanie Thompson, who's the woman in this video again. Now, Thompson is her husband's name because she's legally married. She calls herself Stephanie Jenkins because she pretends that Drew Jenkins is her husband. That's her second baby daddy. That's the father of the baby in this video that hasn't been born yet. But that is not her husband. She says it's her husband, but she's legally married to another man who is in prison for horrific crimes. Who she defended, by the way.
The religious angle has been coming in stronger lately. It almost feels like she's framing herself as this misunderstood, resilient heroine who's just believing hard enough and the universe will handle the rest without needing to make any big changes on her end. I mean, ugh! It's the same cycle we keep seeing. Big emotional post, blame society, defend the stay-at-home mom title while the results don't quite match, end with destiny and God. Meanwhile, the kids are still in that one room and nothing has really moved forward in over a year. I'm not here to hate on stay-at-home moms. So many of them are out here doing incredible, invisible work every single day, and you can see it in their homes and their kids. The issue isn't the title. It's the lack of visible progress, the constant shifting of blame, and the fact that the little ones seem to be the ones paying the biggest price.
There's letters she wrote to the court, okay? She's not very nice. I call her Pookie because I love her. She makes me money on the internet. So she's my Pookie. My Pookie pudding and pie. Anyways, so she's always chaotic and disorganized. She's like talking about how she's like not always cluttered. Every video she's ever had is cluttered, disorganized, dirty. Also, her husband, the guy in jail, he was convicted. He was a convicted SO. Like, he was on a list, baby girl. He was on the list, okay? Registered. He told her, and his family told her. And she was like, nah, I'm good. That's fine. Like, it's whatever. And then had 2 kids with him. So, we have a really hard time. Those of us who have done a deep dive into Pookie, ooh, I wouldn't want to go into Pookie. Blech. Anyways, the more you learn about her, the less you like her, and the harder it comes to defend anything she does, because she makes the worst decisions possible. Decisions that no one would make. If Pookie is faced with a good choice and a bad choice, she actually makes a third choice that no one could have ever possibly thought of that is so much worse than the bad decision.
According to what people have shared, his mom sat her down and explained it right away. She even wrote a letter to a judge advocating for him at one point, talking about how he'd changed for her and how she saw the good in him despite everything. So the whole "I didn't know, I couldn't Google" story doesn't line up perfectly with that. And putting some of the blame on her mom for the tension at home, only to run back to her later when things got tough. It kind of feels like spreading the responsibility around instead of fully owning her own choices back then. She gets emotional in the video, saying it's hard to talk about. She's tired of people acting like they know her whole story and that it's wrong to judge without having been there. Maybe one day she'll share more in a safe space, but not right now. The whole delivery is softer and shakier, like she's fragile and we all need to be extra gentle. But once it leaked out of the subscribers only section, it mostly highlighted the same patterns again. Controlling the narrative, framing things for sympathy, staying vague to add some dark weight without real specifics, and putting her own pain and healing journey front and center.
But quite frankly, after making do for nearly 3 years now.
So this is actually Drew Jenkins' apartment. And it was like a subsidized housing that he got for him and his son that he had custody of. Kind of. So, like, he didn't have legal custody. He just, like, had physical custody. Like, his son was with him, and he just was, like, hiding him from his mom. So he didn't have, like, legal custody. He just, like, had physical custody. Like, he just had the kid with him, and kind of, like, stole him, like, literally. So, anyways. So, 3 years, they have been living in this one-bedroom apartment. Pookie met King Daddy. We call him King Daddy because Stephanie always hypes him up of like what an amazing guy he is, and he's a bum. So it's just kind of a joke that he's King Daddy, because she'll be like, my man, my king, I love him. But like, he's a bum. So we call him King Daddy.
The money excuse for staying married feels pretty selective. It only becomes this huge obstacle when it helps her avoid taking certain steps. The ignorant story tries to reset her as this innocent, unequipped young girl. The mom drama spreads the blame. The soft voice makes any criticism seem harsh, but it doesn't erase the contradictions. And that casual, believe what you want, you're gonna anyway at the end, that doesn't sound like someone who just told the complete truth. It sounds like someone who knows the explanation has holes. On top of everything, those laugh track clips keep making the rounds, showing her trying really hard to sell this happy, hands-on mom lifestyle, while so much around her tells a different story. Downloading sound effects to fake joyful kids laughing in the background while she's cooking. That's next level performative, and it makes the whole "we're resilient, we're doing fine" message even harder to believe. Look, all of this is alleged based on what they've posted publicly, along with rumors, reports, old documents, and their own content.
So King Daddy, this was his apartment. Him and Pookie met on Facebook dating, and after 2 weeks, she moved out of her mom's house. Now, King Daddy told her, do not leave your mom's house because your mom babysits your 2 kids and gets paid by the state to babysit your 2 kids. And also, like, you guys have 3 bedrooms. Everybody's got a bedroom. Everybody's happy. Don't leave your mom's house. And she's like, oh, my king, I just can't leave you. move me into your one-bedroom palace. So middle of the night, her and her two kids show up to King Daddy's one-bedroom apartment. Now, he has his son at the one-bedroom apartment. So now there's King Daddy, his son, Pookie, and her two girls. So now there's 5 people in the one-bedroom apartment. Obviously, Pookie and King Daddy had to take the bedroom because who cares about the kids? Ew. They're just getting in the way of true love. So the kids are in the living room. They had beds. They like broke the beds or like they got punished or something. So they like took the beds away. It was very weird. Subscribers ended up buying Pookie beds for her kids after they went viral. Which, whatever.
I'm not claiming to know every single detail of their private life, but from the outside looking in, it keeps painting this picture of priorities that circle back to content creation and narrative control instead of putting urgent safety and stability for those kids first. The raid should have been a massive red flag to stop and reassess. The housing situation dragging on for a full year should have lit a fire under things. The past explanations should have matched up cleaner without so many gaps. But instead, it keeps cycling. Chaos hits, the camera comes out, the post goes up, comments get answered, with more talk about healing, and the loop continues like the dysfunction has just become normal background noise. That's honestly the scariest part. When the grown-ups get so used to the instability that it starts feeling regular, and the kids are the ones paying the price every single day.
So King Daddy and Pookie, while in the one bedroom, and the kids are in the living room, they were like, what is the best choice we can make right now? Let's have a baby. So they had another baby. So then there were 4 kids living outside, like in the living room, kitchen area. So 4 kids, 2 adults. So family of 6. And then, like, when you have 6 people living in a one-bedroom apartment, and you're like, what? Like, what should we do? Should we get a house? Should we, like, start saving money? No. We should have another baby. Because babies fix everything. So they had another baby. So that is where we meet her. We meet her now, where she is pregnant with her second kid with King Daddy. Okay. So that's sort of where we're at in the timeline. She's pregnant with King Daddy's second baby with her. She turns out, fun fact, twist of events, she goes viral. And then we find out that King Daddy actually has another child. So he has an older son that he hasn't seen in 13 years. And he's been dodging child support.
The environment, the raid happening right there, the fake laughs, the excuses that don't quite add up. It all makes you sit back and wonder when real, lasting change is actually going to happen for those little ones. They deserve so much more than growing up thinking this kind of chaos is just how life is.
What a catch, right? Oh, what a great guy. So he's been dodging child support for 13 years. And Pookie gives away their location. And so it was actually kind of good because he was able to be tracked down and held accountable.
I have nothing but a grateful spirit for the roof over our head, and only the instant judgment me and my husband receive.
So here is like where Pookie tries to pretend that Drew Jenkins is her husband. He is not her husband. He is her side piece because her husband tried to divorce her from prison and she wouldn't sign the paperwork, which is suspicious. That's a little weird. But Pookie's legally married to Jeremiah Christian Thompson. Okay. Google him or don't actually, because there's a appeals document because he just tried to like appeal something, and there's like court documents that you can read, and they're disgusting, horrific, absolutely disgusting. And she defended him, so it's very important you know that Pookie is not a good person, right? Like, I mean, we can kind of tell that already, but like she's genuinely not good.
Why have so many kids if you don't have enough space for them?
Oh, we know why you keep having babies, because babies fix everything. If there is something wrong in your relationship, right, where you feel insecure, have a baby, because babies fix everything.
Anyway, that's the tea I've got for you today. What do you think? Does any of this feel like it's finally heading towards some real improvement, or are we stuck in the same cycle? Let me know your thoughts down below. And don't forget to tell me again where you're watching from and what time it is there. If this video hit you in any way, go ahead and like it, subscribe if you haven't, and turn those notifications on so we don't miss the next chat. Mwah, love you guys. Catch you in the next one.